Someone just talked to you like you were nothing, right there, in front of people, and you stood there, said nothing, smiled, maybe even laughed it off. And later, alone, you kept replaying it in your head, wishing you had said something, thinking of all the perfect things you could have said, running through the scene again and again like somehow that changes what already happened. Here is the truth nobody tells you. The moment you stay quiet when someone disrespects you, you teach them one thing. You teach them they can do it again. And they will, because silence reads as permission every single time. But today that stops, because I am going to show you 6 exact responses that flip the whole thing around. These are not insults, not fights, not even loud. They are calm, simple, and they work so fast it will shock you. Once you learn these 6 responses, people do not just stop disrespecting you. They actually regret that they ever tried. Stay with me, because the first one alone will change how people talk to you forever. Here is something most people get completely wrong about disrespect. They think some people are just rude, just mean, born that way, nothing you can do about it. But that is not what is happening. Disrespect is a test, every single time. Before someone treats you badly, they watch you first. They look for one signal. Will this person say something, or will they just let it go? If you have a long history of letting things go, you already answered that question. They know the answer before they open their mouth, and so they go ahead. I was that person for years. Not because I was weak, but because I did not know how to respond in a way that felt right. Everything felt either too aggressive or too soft. So I said nothing, smiled, moved on, every time. And the more I let it go, the more it happened. Because every time I let it go, I was sending the same message. You can do this. There are no consequences here. Come back whenever you want. Until one day I got tired of feeling that way and figured out that the response does not have to be a whole speech. It just has to land. It just has to be clear, certain, delivered like you actually mean it. These 6 responses are exactly that. And once you understand them, you will never go back to staying silent again. 1. Agree with them on your own terms. When someone disrespects you in front of others, they want you to either blow up or shrink. Blow up and you look unstable. Shrink and you look weak. Either way, they win. So give them neither. Instead, you agree, but on your own terms. Here is what this looks like in a real situation. Someone makes a comment about something you did, said with just enough edge to sting a little. Instead of defending yourself or going quiet, you look at them and say, "Yeah, that is what I did and it worked for me." Flat voice, easy face, zero apology anywhere in your tone. What just happened? You took their comment and turned it into a complete non-event. When you agree without any shame attached to it, the comment loses every bit of power it had. There is nothing left to push against. You already said yes and kept walking. The people around you expected a reaction. You gave them nothing to watch. And now the person who made the comment looks like they were trying to start something over absolutely nothing at all. Try another version. Someone says to you in front of a group, "You really think you know everything, don't you?" Old you explains yourself, apologizes, softens it, tries to seem humble. New you says, "I know what I know." Small smile. Keep going. That is not arrogance. That is someone who is settled inside themselves. And settled people are extremely hard to rattle. People feel that and they back up fast. Use this on the chronic jokers who hide digs inside humor. Agree with the surface. Keep your dignity completely. Watch them run out of material very quickly. There is a reason this response works every single time. Shame requires your participation. The moment you remove your participation, the whole thing collapses. 2. Make them say it clearly. People who disrespect others keep it vague on purpose. They use implication instead of direct words. They say something that could pass as harmless if you squint, but everyone in the room knows exactly what was meant. That vagueness is their protection. As long as it stays vague, they can deny it. As long as they can deny it, you look oversensitive for calling it out. So you take the protection away completely. You say this. What exactly do you mean by that? Say it clearly, not with heat in your voice, just calm, straightforward, like you genuinely need them to explain what they just said, and watch what happens next. Now they are in trouble. They have to own what they said, with actual words in front of actual people, and most people are simply not willing to do that. Because when it comes out clearly, it can no longer be denied. It just sounds like exactly what it is. So they backpedal. "Oh, I was just saying. Never mind. It was nothing. I was joking." And everyone around you just watch that happen. Watch their face in that moment. That is the moment the power shifts completely. You never accused them of anything. You asked one question and let them answer it in front of everyone. The answer did all the work for you. That is the beauty of this response. One question, 0 accusations. Total accountability placed right back where it belongs. You do not need to argue. You do not need to explain yourself. You just need to make them explain themselves. and that single shift changes everything. Most people never try that vagueness with you again once you use this even one time. 3. Give one warning. Mean it completely. This response is specifically for people you see regularly. The coworker who always has a comment, the family member who cannot help themselves, the friend who takes one dig too many every single time. These people keep going because they believe each individual moment is too small to address. This response removes that hiding place permanently. You say this, I am going to let that go this one time, but I need you to know I will not let it go again. Quiet voice. No performance, no anger in your face, just information delivered like a simple fact. You showed them you are not reactive. One thing does not make you explode, but you also told them, with zero room for confusion, that there is a line, that the line is real, and that they are standing right next to it right now. If it happens again, you do not need another big conversation. You said what you would do. You simply do it. People adjust very quickly around someone who says exactly what they mean and then follows through every single time. Suddenly, you are not the easy option anymore, and that is all you ever needed to be. The warning is not a threat, it is a gift. You are giving them a chance to correct course before the relationship changes permanently. Most people who receive it clearly will take that chance. The ones who do not just told you everything you need to know about them. Stop for a second and notice something about every response so far. No yelling, no insults, no scenes, no drama. Because real respect is not won by being the loudest person in the room. It is won by being the clearest, the calmest, the most sure of yourself in the moment. When you respond with chaos, people only see chaos. When you respond with complete clarity, people see someone they genuinely should not have tested in the first place. That is the shift inside you. From someone who absorbs to someone who reflects. From someone who shrinks under pressure to someone who simply stands still and lets the pressure bounce off entirely. 4. Take back the frame. Every act of disrespect is really an attempt to put you in a box, to make you look defensive, uncertain, like someone who can be pushed around. And the moment you start defending yourself, you stepped right inside the box they built for you. This response refuses that box entirely. You are in a conversation and someone talks over you, cuts you off mid-sentence. Most people stop, feel the embarrassment settle in, let it happen and stay quiet. You wait, let them finish. Then you say, that is a fair point. Now let me finish what I was saying. And you go right back to exactly where you were. Same voice, same energy, like the interruption was a small bump that changed absolutely nothing about where you were headed. That composure alone is the message. You acknowledged them, then you took your space back without asking anyone for permission. The people watching that exchange will remember it. They saw you get tested, and they saw you stay standing. Or this version. Someone questions a decision you made in front of others. Instead of defending it, you say, what I find more interesting is why that bothers you. Calm face, genuine tone. Now they are the subject, not you. You move the spotlight without making a scene. You refuse the story someone else was trying to write about you. They wanted you to look small. You looked like someone who simply cannot be moved. That is the frame you always want to be operating from. Not defensive, not aggressive, just unmovable. And unmovable people do not need to raise their voice to command a room. 5. Let real indifference do the work. This response carries no specific words with it, and that is exactly what makes it so powerful. When someone disrespects you and you give them a big reaction, you paid them in full. You handed over exactly what they came looking for, your emotion, your energy, proof that they got to you. What if you gave them nothing at all instead? Not the fake version, not the eye roll everyone sees through, real nothing. The kind that comes from genuinely deciding this person does not deserve your energy right now or ever. They say something, you look at them for one beat, not angry, not hurt, just completely neutral, like you heard something mildly uninteresting. Then you continue whatever you were doing before they opened their mouth. That is the entire response. Continue. People used to getting reactions from you will try once more. Same result, maybe a third time, same flat, unbothered response every time. Then they stop, because there is no return on the investment. Nobody keeps doing something that gives them absolutely nothing back. But this only works when it is genuine. If you are replaying it all night, the indifference is just a costume. And a costume never lasts long in front of people who are paying close attention to you. Real indifference comes from a real decision, that your piece is not a public resource, that not every person who says something about you gets access to how you feel inside. Make that decision for real and watch the entire dynamic shift completely around you. Your piece is the prize. And the moment you stop handing it out freely to whoever demands it, people begin to sense that you are someone worth treating with far more care. 6. Name the pattern out loud. A single comment can always be explained away. A pattern cannot. This response is for when it has happened more than once, where someone has settled into a habit of treating you a certain way and keeps coming back to repeat it. Instead of addressing one moment, you address the entire picture. Here is exactly how it sounds. I have noticed something. This keeps happening between us, not once, more than once, and it always goes in the same direction. I do not know if you are aware of it, but I am. And I am telling you now that I see it clearly. Say it calm. No raised voice, no accusations, just a quiet observation stated directly to their face. You just took away every escape route they had. They cannot say it was one misunderstanding. They cannot say you are being too sensitive. You are talking about a pattern. There is a specific discomfort people feel when they realize someone has been watching the whole time, when they thought each moment slipped by unnoticed, and then find out it was all seen clearly from the start. That awareness lands hard without you raising your voice or saying a single unkind word. Most people who chip away with small repeated disrespects count entirely on the smallness being their protection. This response tells them that protection is gone. You have the whole picture. You named it. Now they know. And knowing changes behavior faster than any argument ever could. You did not need to win a fight. You just needed to make them aware that you have been paying attention the entire time. That awareness alone is enough to change the entire dynamic going forward. Here is what sits underneath all 6 of these responses. It is not the words themselves that make them work. What makes them work is the belief behind the words. The belief that you do not have to earn the right to be treated with basic respect. That respect is not some reward you receive after proving yourself enough times to enough people. It is simply the minimum standard for how you allow people to interact with you. Most people who get disrespected regularly are good people, decent people, kind people, people who were taught that keeping the peace was more important than keeping their dignity. They just began somewhere along the way to act as though they needed permission to expect better. You do not need permission. Not once. Not from anyone. When you stop waiting for it and start moving from that belief, things change. The way you carry yourself, the tone of your voice, the way you hold eye contact without looking away first, the way you walk into a room like you already belong there. People feel all of this before you say a single word. Your presence becomes its own message before your mouth ever opens. The responses work every time, but it is the belief behind them that gives them their real weight and staying power. Without the belief, the words are just words. With the belief behind them, they become something else entirely. They become a boundary, a standard, a signal that goes out to every person in the room, telling them clearly and quietly exactly who they are dealing with. That is the version of you these 6 responses are designed to bring forward. Not to create, just to let out. That version was always there. These responses simply give it a voice. Drop a comment below right now. Tell me which of these 6 responses you are using first. I genuinely read every single one. And if someone in your life needs to hear this today, do them a favor and send them this video right now. See you in the next one, and until then, please remember this. Every single day you walk into a room is a chance to show people exactly who they are dealing with. Use that chance. Make it count every time. You are worth that, and you always have been.